What's going on, guys? In today's video we're going to be showing you how to take care of this plant right here. Now, in case you're wondering, this is an Antherium plant. It's one of my favorite house plants, and the reason being is it's fairly straightforward to maintain. It does not require a ton of water, and it can be placed in pretty much any room that receives a bit of sunlight. And the reason I do like that is because depending on where you are in the house, you may not get full sunlight all day. So if this plant gets a ton of indirect light, it's still going to thrive. And that's actually one of the reasons you'll see it in a lot of commercial establishments like restaurants and even casinos where there's a lot of artificial light but not direct sunlight. Now this plant right here, as you can see, it's a pink color. They do range in color. You can get whites, you can get purples, you can get dark reds. But in this case, I have the pink. It goes well with the area that it's located in terms of the color scheme. And that's really about it. So what we're going to be doing in this video is showing you how to care for this plant in terms of its, I would say, general upkeep. Now, you may not be able to see it in the video right now, but there's a few dead leaves. There's a few spent blooms that you probably can't see, but they're back there, and I will show you in a bit. And we're going to show you how to remove those and what to do to ensure optimal growth of this plant and continual blooms all year round. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so here we have it. As you can see, our plant is now in focus. One of the first things that I noticed with this plant was the color of the foliage. So in most cases, your foliage should be a nice glossy green, almost like a wax appearance. The majority of the foliage, actually, this is the glossy green that I'm talking about right there. Now, the majority of the foliage down by the base is actually more dull. It's a darker green and it's dull. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Now, the most important thing here is ensuring that you have nice color flowers, and you can see that at the top where the new blooms are. Now at the bottom here, what we have is a spent bloom, otherwise it's dead and now dried out. And one of the main things that we want to do to encourage additional growth is cut this thing off. By cutting spent blooms and dead foliage off your plant, what's going to happen is the plant is going to put more energy towards shooting up these nice bright pink flowers or whatever color flowers that your plant produces, and good quality foliage in terms of like the leaves, and that's really all there's to it. So cutting off those spent blooms and dead foliage will ultimately promote a healthier plant. Now here we have it. There's a better view of our dead foliage here, or spent bloom, and what we're going to do is actually chop it off from the base of the plant. I don't recommend pulling it. Here's a pair of nice clean scissors, which I typically use. And we're just going to trace it right down to the bottom of the plant and cut it right off. So there we have it. Very simple to do. What you see at the top of that flower, dried out flower, is that little stem there. So sometimes you'll actually have seeds from these stems, and you could save them and try and grow the Antherium plant yourself. And there's our second cutting. So as good housekeeping practice, what you want to do is every now and then just chop off these spent blooms, and if you see any dead leaves that are dried out as well, you can go ahead and snip those off as well. Alright, so now on to our second issue with this plant. As you can see, we have some roots protruding. This happens from time to time as the plant grows and as the soil settles. So what we're going to do is top this up with some new potting soil. And the potting soil that I am using is, I believe it's made by Miracle Grow. And it actually has a fertilizer built into it, or mixed into it, along with some perlite, which you can see there, the white. Now this soil I do like because it's nice and airy and drains very well. So let's go ahead and crush that up before we put it in the pot. So what we're doing now is we got our spray bottle out, our handy dandy spray bottle, and this is one of my favorite tools in my collection. It just makes watering so much easier, and it was only $2 from the dollar store. So you really can't go wrong with that. So what I'm doing here is just moistening the soil. I'm going to put it on the spray nozzle, or the fan nozzle, whatever it's called, and just give the top of the soil, the new soil that we put down, a good topping of water. We don't want to flood it quite yet. Once the soil takes in some water, it'll become actually a lot more porous. And let's just make sure we get a nice even coverage around the entire pot. And once that is done, we will be good to go. Okay guys, so there you have it. Very simple to maintain your Antherium plant. Really, at the end of the day, there's 3 things that you need to take care of. One is ensure that your plant has enough water, but at the same time, not too much water. So it can get a little finicky depending on the pot that you have it in and the location it's located within your house. But as a main takeaway, the plant does not like wet feet, but it does not like to go dry. So what I do is in a plant size or a pot size like this, about 6 inches, I water about once a week. And if I do notice that, especially during the summer months when it's super hot out, I will give it a little sprinkling of water about midweek, but not a full soak through. Now the second thing is your lighting. The plant does not like direct sunlight, which is why it thrives very well in pretty much any home. So keep it out of direct sunlight. Now if you do want to encourage additional growth and blooms, increase the light or put it in a room that gets more sunlight. But at the same time, make sure that at any time in the day you don't have sunlight hitting the foliage because it will burn, and the plant itself does not like that. Now the third and final thing to ensure that you have optimal growth and a healthy plant is to keep on top of the trimming. So anytime you see one of these heads going brown, they'll first actually go green usually before they go brown. Give it a snip right at the base, cut it right off, and that'll make sure the plant directs additional energy and effort towards keeping up with its foliage production as well as flowering. So those are really the 3 main steps. If you keep on top of that, you're going to have a healthy and happy plant for a very long time. Now, if you guys have any questions or any comments on this video or specific questions about your Antherium, feel free to leave them in the comment section below and I will do my best to help you out. Now, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up or hit that subscribe button somewhere down there. That does go a long way. Again, I want to thank you for watching and we'll see you on the next one.